Well, thanks for the testimony. What a blessing and challenge that is. I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but we're going to be in Proverbs chapter 6. Your assignment was for last time or this last month is for your squads was to read and discuss chapters 5 through 8. So basically what I've done is just picked one passage in that section to kind of go over this morning, and hopefully you've been able to have your meetings. It seems like you guys have been doing a pretty good job getting together and things like that. Did you guys find anything that motivates you and share that with your squad? I'm curious if that was something you guys were able to do. What kind of things did you find that motivates you that you were able to share? So good. I'm glad you guys found some stuff.
We talked about it, but I don't think we shared it.
Okay, you talked about it. All right. Well, maybe we might have to renew that assignment for this next month and see how that goes. Did you check on your prayer partner? Okay, good. If you didn't, then do that. Proverbs chapter 6, very simple. This is starting in verse 6, and I'll read through verse 11. It says, "Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer and gathereth her food in the harvest. How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep, so shall thy poverty come as one that traveleth, and thy want as an armed man." Now, I'm not going to suggest that you guys are lazy because you are here on a Saturday morning. We got guys that showed up early for breakfast and cooking, all this stuff. So don't misunderstand. But there are some other aspects of this passage that I think are helpful for us, not just to address general laziness or oversleeping, but some other things. So the first one is just to learn from the ants. Now, it's so interesting that Proverbs mentions different animals, different things, very small things that we can learn from. And I'm going to show a video. It's about 3 minutes, so it's not too long, about an ant colony. Okay, and I've showed the youth this, so they might remember. But there are four things that I want you to look for. These are 4 questions that I'm going to ask you afterwards that I want you to pay attention and see if you can remember. What is the weight of the cement that is used? Okay, this will make more sense in a minute. The other is how many tons of soil did the ants remove? Okay. And then how long did it take to excavate this thing? And then who or what designed this structure? Okay. So you got those questions? What was the weight of the cement? The weight of the soil that the ants removed? How long did this excavation take? Actually, we'll scratch that one because I don't think they answered that. And then who or what designed the structure? Okay. So let's see if we can get this pulled up here. Huh? Well, according to the video, let's say that.
The next stage of the
Oops,
investigation
hang on.
was to find out what one of these.
I thought it would I thought it would show this without me having to close out the. There we go.
Well,
All right. I saw some of y'all writing down. All right, how much cement did it take? 10 tons. That's quite a deal. And then how many tons of soil did the ants remove in this construction?
4 tons.
40.
40.
Yeah, 40 tons. Crazy. It says billions. Anytime I see a video and about nature and talks about billions, usually it's something wrong about billions of years, but we're talking billions of loads of this stuff. Now, the question, according to this, who or what designed this structure?
And
Superorganism.
Right, the ants. Now, is that wrong?
Yes.
Okay. What does the Bible say? Which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer, gathereth her food in the harvest. Who's the one overseeing this? According to these verses. Nobody. Now, obviously, God designed the ants to do this, so there is a designer of this. But for the ants, there's no one in charge. It is the colony of the ants that create this structure. There's nobody saying, keep moving, basically carry this load 4 times your size. All right, if you weigh 200 pounds, you carry 800 pounds on your back, walk a kilometer and dump it, and then come get another load. If that was us, we'd have to have somebody with a whip. Okay, somebody is telling us to do this stuff, else we're not going to be doing it, or paying us, or something. Something's got to be motivating us, and that's not the way it is with ants. That's kind of the point of this proverb is there's not somebody forcing them to do this. There's no overseer, there's no ruler. They're doing this on their own. Yes.
It's built in.
It is built in, but they're just doing it. And his point is the sluggard needs somebody to force him to move, force him to get out of bed, force him to do this. And the wise man doesn't need those things. Doesn't need those outside forces to do this for him. He just gets up and he gets done what he needs to get done. He goes where he needs to go. And sometimes I think, at least I lack this in some ways. There are some outside motivators. If I don't get up, then somebody's going to think I'm bad. They're going to think bad of me, or maybe I won't get this done, or my wife's going to be mad at me if I stay in bed all day. And there are those things, but in general, a wise man will do what he needs to do without having those things. And you can see this with young people. Typically, you sort of have to make them do stuff. You have to have a rule: clean your room, make your bed, take out the trash. And if you don't, then there's going to be consequences. There's a rule. This is your job. You got to do this. You got to be reminded. I had to get both of my boys out of the bed this morning and wake them up a couple of times. Okay, that doesn't always happen. I don't always have to get them up. They get themselves up and do school and that kind of thing. But as we grow and mature, those things get less and less. And so the aspect of this that I wanted to kind of bring out is, even spiritually speaking, we ought to be not lazy spiritually, where it takes outside motivation for us. The pastor's got to remind us to read our Bibles or to pray. The pastor's got to, we got to have motivation to do these things. We got to have a special service for us to show up on a Sunday night or Wednesday night or something. And those things are required for lazy people. And I'm not trying to call anybody lazy, but those are the kinds of things that it takes to motivate immature Christians, are the special things to try to get them to do the spiritual things. And a wise man, a mature man, will not need those things. They come automatically because we have a relationship with God, and those spiritual aspects are things that we work into our lives because we know that's what we need and that's what we want to do, not because somebody else is making us do those things. And so we learn from the ants, and then we wake up basically. The second part of this is how long are you going to sleep? When will you arise out of your sleep? And the aspect of this is, I think sometimes we can be lulled into kind of a sleepiness with different aspects of our life. Sometimes we just sort of coast. Physically, we can do this. We don't need to exercise. We don't want to do these things. We don't want to have to get out of our chair unless we have to. Or it could be spiritually speaking, that we're just sort of lulled into a thing where we go to church, we do the things, but we're sort of just half asleep. We can do this emotionally, where it's like we're not going to go super deep with anybody, not even our wives. We'll just sort of exist. Emotionally, we're not going to go to big feelings. We're not going to go to dreams and hopes and all of those things. We're just gonna exist. And then intellectually too, we can kind of fall asleep. We don't read books. We don't listen to articles or read articles. We don't listen to somebody that's smarter than us, and we can kind of get into this sort of half asleep, haven't really had an original thought in a while, or been challenged intellectually in a while. And so the challenge, at least for us, is to wake up, kind of come out of that a little bit. And sometimes the Lord does this in our lives. He brings something into our lives to give us a wake up call. Sometimes you've heard that statement. Somebody gets sick, somebody gets hurt, you're in a vehicle accident or something, and there's like this wake up call there that you understand kind of anew that there's something more important that needs to happen in your life, and you kind of kick into gear and do something. I would challenge all of us to do that without the car wreck. Okay. Don't wait for the big thing to happen in your life. Wake up now. Commit yourself to what the Lord wants you to do now, and don't be more like the ant and not have to wait for somebody to whip you into shape. And so the challenges or the assignments. These are not the assignments. These are same goals that we're going to repeat, because I want you guys to understand why we have these squats, okay, and what your goals are with the squat. To develop righteousness in ourselves, to help us to be more like Christ, to develop relationships, get to know each other, and that bond that happens, and then to develop responsibility, to be responsible for each other, for our own lives, and those kinds of things. So that's repeat. Now this month's assignment is to read and discuss chapters 9 through 12. So we're going to just keep moving through Proverbs. By the end of the year, the goal is to have covered all of Proverbs. And then to identify a specific area where you're kind of asleep. And then make a commitment to wake that area up. Do something in that area to wake up and kind of recommit yourself to something. And then to share that commitment with your squad, along with your the thing that motivates you. Okay, maybe that will come out as well. So these are the 3 assignments, and with your card, this is for you to write down that one area where you are asleep, where you might be kind of droned into a rest that is not healthy. Okay. And so take a second, write that down on your card, and just that one area where you might be sleeping. And then you can keep that, you can share that with your squad in whatever way that you guys deem appropriate. Yes.
Proverbs 19 and 15. Slothfulness, or in the New International Version, instead of laziness,
Yeah.
cast us into deep sleep, and an idle soul shall suffer hunger. And I found that to be absolutely true, that being lazy is not good for energy.
Right. And it sort of laziness breeds laziness. You just kind of, even physically, you don't get up and walk, then you don't feel like getting up and walking. And so you don't, and then it's just sort of a spiral downward. It can be the same way with the other things. It's like, well, I don't want to really think too much right now, so I want to relax my brain, and then you don't feel like doing anything, and then you just sort of spiral down. So, but yeah, this idea of slothfulness is not just, you quit going to work. Alvin and I were talking about that, how difficult it is now for folks just to show up to work. That's the classic laziness, okay, where you can't bring yourself to get up in the morning and show up to work. That's terrible. I don't think any of us are doing that here, but we do kind of allow ourselves to kind of lull into patterns that maybe are not, they're not pushing us. We're not really growing. We're just sort of stagnant. And it takes a little bit to kind of break yourself out of that. So any other comments, questions? Okay, what I'd like to do is instead of having like a prayer time as a group, I'd like you guys to just break up into your squads really quick and have a couple of guys in the squad pray, and then we'll call it a day. Does that sound good? I would have you guys pray for the homeschool group that's meeting. Matt just left. They're meeting right now. This Home Educators Association is having. They've been having issues with Unity for quite a while, and they have kind of a big meeting this morning where they're going to have some discussion. So be prayed for that. Ashley Hummingbird is a part of that board, and so she's asked for some prayer for that. So anything else? Okay, let's break up into our squads and have some prayer time.